Hello and welcome to the Sias du Plessis show. Thanks for liking and subscribing. On today's show, well, I have two legends of combat sports joining me to talk about their next venture and the incredible work that they're doing in the townships of South Africa. Hekkie Budler, former two-time world boxing champion, and Dino Bagattin, former EFC welterweight champion, are in studio right here on the Sias du Plessis show. This is their story. Welcome, gentlemen. Thank you so much for making time. Dino, Hekkie, guys, what's happening at the moment? I'm hearing about this management company. Life is good. I've worked with you in the 12th Man, obviously the Betway 12th Man program, which is a program that Ash and the team have put together with great curriculum for athletes that have finished their careers and given you sort of ideas, put you on a new path, that sort of thing. But from that has come Nice Guys Management, right?
Yeah.
Tell me a bit more here. Is things up and running? Are we excited about what the future holds? And I mean, you guys are legends of your respective sports, both former champions. Now you're giving back.
Yeah, well, I mean, 12th Man was fantastic for both of us. I learned a lot, like, preparing me for the business world, you could say. And we got the opportunity, obviously, like I was going to always link with Hekkie, the combat sports, the brotherhoods there.
The two always sitting there one side together the whole time.
The two punchy acts.
I was going to say, you guys were like peas in a pod.
And it was just fitting that, we partnered up and presented, I think, together. Two's better than one, two brain cells instead of one. So yeah, we launched Nice Guys. That was our presentation of that, and we were fortunate enough to be one of the winners. And from it, there's just going to be so much. That's why I was so happy on the evening, when I won. I was just thinking to myself, wow, there's so much good that's going to come of this. And, for our respective sports, we always were in discussion about, the hardships of combat sports. And, and we both have the same problems, it's promoters and so on and so forth. And and it was an idea, and it was, giving back to the sports, and it got really fast tracked pretty quickly. With some other things that came to light, and and we're still getting there. Hey, it's not like
we've got everything completely 100% running. It's just starting. There's still things that have to be fine tuned. If you can say that way, but we're getting there. It will happen at its time. When it's ready, we'll explode. You'll see.
Oh, absolutely. I've no doubt. I think the IP alone between you two guys is just incredible. I mean, if I tally up the fights between you guys, I mean, there's so much fight, so experience, so many training camps, so many weight cuts, so many highs, so many lows that you can share with your prospective clients, right? Other athletes who are going through this journey at the same time.
So like mentorship.
Yeah.
Mentorship, showing them the easy way of doing it. And, things like we learned how to cut weights.
And no one showed you,
Yeah,
right?
we had guys like Rory Diesel who figured it out, testing it on himself, how to rehydrate the body properly and all of that. And, it's easy. Like now we're in a position where it's easier. We know the right people. There's the right, like in our gym, everything's in place there for you to cut your weights, because it's the first test, and secondly, hydrate properly so you can perform. A lot of guys don't know.
Yeah, I mean,
most guys don't know. I've seen guys going to a weigh-in where the eyes are so pulled back into the brain. They've got their coach and their manager carrying them to the scale. Yeah. The guy can't stand, but he has to fight to make weight. And like you're saying, you have to do it right.
Yeah.
Guys aren't taught that.
And you guys have seen some stuff in your day, right? I think what is the key message or advice that you want to give to, I know that there's talks around various different athletes and some really exciting names that you're talking to at the moment, and we can't give them away just yet for various legal reasons, but what is some of the advice that you want to give? I mean, Hekkie, you've been world champion, 2 weight divisions, you've so many different fights. Dino, you've been EFC champion. I actually got a photo here from 2013, newly crowned EFC welterweight champion Dino Bagattin.
This is my heel gave me a hard night. I can't zoom in, but
Yeah.
and I could see it in my face there. I had to go for plastic surgery for that. cut.
Real?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
And that's why the scars like this, you can't really see it. They did a really good job, so it was worth every penny. But
You're still a very handsome man.
oh,
Dino.
thank you. No, that was like good defense. Yes, I had good defense.
After that fight, John.
But tell me, in terms of that advice, what is it? What you want to sort of share?
That the guys shouldn't be shaken down, especially for money, how the guys are used. Because I was smoked in my career, like big time. Like there's guys that are in my shoes that I personally know that are multimillionaires. They never have to work a day in their lives again.
Yeah.
And hopefully with the two of us helping the fighters that one day they can have that. They can retire millionaires, where most fighters should actually be.
Yeah.
If you put your life on the line every time you step in the ring for other people's entertainment, you should be rewarded in that.
Yeah.
Or am I wrong? You should be.
The gladiators should
So I
get
would,
the big
yeah,
money.
the guys need to get the right money, get the right people around them to make sure that they're treated right as well.
Yeah. Dino?
Yeah, I think like having the right people around you. When you become like big and famous like Drickus is now, I mean, a lot of people are there for the wrong reasons. So I think you should always, trust the people, surround yourself with people you can trust. Not everyone's there. I mean, we've all had our walk-ins with the wrong people in life, that aren't there for the good. And it's also not something you pick up straight away, whether they're good there for good, bad, good or bad reasons.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you can't just judge everyone. I mean, I always give people the benefit of the doubt when I meet people, but just be wary. It's like easy to take advantage of, fighters and yeah.
And the reason for that is most fighters come from poor backgrounds. If you look at history of fighting, most guys come from nothing. So they trust people easily. When the guy says, easy example, Mike Tyson came from nothing. The guy wasted $400 million in 2 years?
Yeah.
Or tigers. Who advises you to go and buy tigers? They didn't have the right people around them. And we'd like to be those people to help people. You don't go and buy a 6 million rand house. You just don't.
Yeah.
Wait for your retirement. There's time. There's always a better time to do things.
If I think of when you guys got into the sport, young, impressionable, bulletproof, I mean, you would have pretty much listened to anyone, right, for advice at the time. I mean, boxing has been around a very long time. MMA is now starting to become more mainstream. But I imagine when you first got into that space, it was, I'm trying to take as much advice as possible, but I'm also here to be a killer and show the world that I can fight.
Yeah, I mean, back then when MMA started, it was still until EFC came along, it was still heavy underground. Shows weren't Mornay used to have his shows literally in a parking lot, so it was very underground. The UFC made it mainstream for all of us, but
even the start of when you did it, people were looking at them these guys they're going to go in there and kill each other, rip each other apart. No one understood it.
Yeah.
Since Drickus actually became a superstar, literally, people are taking notice. They're realizing actually it's not that bad. These guys get protected. There is protection there. They're really well-trained athletes.
When you started out, and especially in the MMA side of things were raw. It was underground. There was this, and I think there's still a stigma attached to the sport. Boxing has obviously been around for so many, many years. People are looking past that. At the end of the day, the pugilists, there's damage. People are throwing punches. You're trying to hurt your opponent, right? Yeah. But I think where you guys have come from, you've walked this incredible journey, and that's why you're here today, is to say we want to teach people the right way and sidestep the stuff that we did wrong.
Well, that's why the 12th man was so big for us, because we were like, geez, imagine if we knew things like this during our career, and that's sort of where where the idea for me came from, was geez, wouldn't this be great if what we get in here, we could provide this for, how to run your social media, the impacts of having LinkedIn and becoming a brand. And I mean, I can go on.
He was paying attention.
And also, what they gave
Hyper-focus.
Gave us people to ask to as well. We know if we give you a call, you'll help us. You'll give us that little bit of advice. there's so many other people involved that just meeting new people that we would have never met if it wasn't for this program.
Yeah. And I think that's what's so important is you guys have forged a partnership out of that. I mean, fighting, combat sports has brought you together through this program. And now there's this wealth of knowledge that you're sharing out there. I think what's fascinating for me is how your paths have crossed, because the two of you literally in the program were like, there's my fight buddy, you know, and you guys were together the whole time.
Oh, we were friends before,
No,
which
true,
made it
yeah.
easier. So we were
Did
mates
go way
before,
back, right?
Way back. I've been to many of Hekkie's fights, and
Yeah, and vice versa. Yeah, same.
yeah, so
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And I mean, at the end of the day, you've also got your fair share of boxing training behind you. I mean, I know
Yeah,
MMA
yes,
was
yes.
your first thing,
Yes,
but
yeah.
Smith's Gym, you've been
yeah,
there.
I was there for many.
So you have
years,
the
yeah.
common.
I was in the circles. If
You
you
in?
know what I mean? I was in
Yeah.
the boxing circles. Yeah,
And if you look at his arms, we like quite a lot of the same things.
yeah. Tattoo. We got the same tattoo artist.
Where
as
was
well.
the first one that you got?
first tattoo?
Yeah,
oh, that big one
before
on my
the
back.
first fight. Yeah, was it before your first? Yeah, obviously.
Yeah, it was
First
before.
professional fight you would
I
have.
was 21 when I got my first tattoo. Yeah. And with that big one on my back, and it hurt so bad, I was like nearly in tears.
How long did that take?
Not long. I can't, like 3 hours, 4 hours. It's long. And it was before I knew things
but
like numbing cream and stuff like that.
The artist, Jade, says that Dino likes getting tattooed. He loves it.
So you have the same tattoo artist.
Yeah,
too?
yeah. Jade sponsored Hekkie and I for like our whole careers,
Yeah.
basically, you know. So
And Hekkie's got some real estate free there. You not so much, Dino.
yeah, he's.
I also don't have a lot of space, you know. My size, my back's just
Different weight
back's
division.
covered.
But I mean, that sort of tattoo side of things, is that something you've always wanted? Because everyone looks at MMA or boxers and they go, oh, immediately, when did they get their first tattoo, right?
Yeah.
But it goes beyond that.
No, it does. Like a lot of them, my dad had tattoos, and like, yeah, I was very fond of his tattoos. So a lot of I've got like he had a snake, he had a swallow, he had an elephant. Didn't have the lion. I got a big lion on my chest. Yeah. So yeah, copying dad, and I mean they like sort of become more in fashion and less frowned upon, if you know what I mean. So. And it's like your body's a temple, so why not decorate it? You know?
No, the artwork is amazing. So shout out to Jade and the team there.
Yeah, thanks.
Thanks.
But looking at you, Hekkie, are you done now with?
No, actually, still, I was by Jade last week. Actually, still busy with my back. Yeah,
Okay.
finishing my back. Yeah, it's a problem.
You have to share that
It's
on.
a big problem.
Really. Moving on to what the next step looks like, guys. I mean, firstly, do you miss competing? I know
Every day.
Hekkie, Dino still throws gloves and throws hands at
also
Team
a Barnes
CIT.
boy.
But I mean, that's competing. What is it about that you miss? It's not the camp. It's not building up, right?
No, the training, I still miss it a bit. You still miss the training things. Actually, like I said, me and my wife bought bikes to do something else, something different for training-wise for myself. But the thing I miss most, I think most fighters, I don't know if Dino agrees, is walking from the dressing room into your straight into the cage, for me into the ring, and just that walk, that adrenaline you get walking just into the ring it's unexplainable. You can't get that from nothing else. There's nothing that can supplement
Man in the arena.
that. No, it's just you walking in there, hearing people booing you or shouting for you until the bell rings there. Then it's gone, and then it's focus on fight. That's what I miss most.
And does that go quickly? Do you remember those walkouts? I mean, I know you were saying like, if it wasn't for Facebook, sometimes you wouldn't
so
remember
like,
exactly.
You don't remember. I think I was always the same through every walk.
Yeah.
You know, I was always came out like pumped up, ready.
You had your
ready
song.
to go. Yeah, I didn't have I had like many different songs. Like,
Yeah, same.
I always chose a new one.
And was that based on how you're feeling going into that week, or was it a message to taunt your opponent?
Yeah, it would be me choosing a song was like something that I related to from like my childhood, or like, you know, like I grew up listening to hip hop. I even came out to Dire Straits once for when I won the title for my dad. I came out to Dire Straits. Come out to some reggae. Like at the time it hypes me up. It's my big entrance, you know.
Yeah, and is there nerves each time?
Yeah, Every single time. I think if you don't get nervous, something wrong with you.
Yeah.
I can imagine.
You have to hide it, of course, but
Yeah.
there's nerves every single time. You're going in there to hurt someone and they're going to hurt you.
Yeah.
There has to be nerves.
It's like your body knows.
Yeah, it's I'm on here. I've
Yeah,
got
but,
it.
and that's another thing. We feed off those nerves.
Yeah.
I needed those nerves. Otherwise, I wasn't.
was it
I don't feel prepared.
A jab or, you know, slipping a punch or that first contact that made you settle the nerves and
Mine
like,
was
get
the
you in
bell.
the zone?
Yeah, the bell. Goof. Then I know.
So it wasn't actual physical.
No, just the bell. The bell switched me on. Just that first. Ding, I'm ready now. Yeah. Then you go.
Yeah.
And for
I
you?
would say the same that well, ours is the horn.
Yeah.
Yeah. Everyone's at the cage. That's
Oh, to go.
Oh, when the buzzer goes or the
Yeah.
bell goes, you know, it's action now. There's no shaking hands or no hugging or no listening to anything. You're fighting. That's it. There's
But it's
nothing
like
else.
that. That's an evolution. It's an evolution to get to that part because in the beginning you hell nervous, you pumped up, you overpumped, you underpumped, you anxiety's through the roof. You've spent the whole week being in a bad mood where you didn't actually have to do anything until the bell
Yep.
or the horn.
Yeah.
You know, and that's you only get to that later. Like I'm wasting, you learn like you're wasting so much energy messing around, and like I see it now. Like Mark's now getting to that point now. We just start meditating there, meditate like literally meditating what he's going to, how he's going to fight this fight and clarity and all of that. You know,
Yeah.
that comes like it's a progression to get there.
Yeah, you learn that job.
Take me back to that first professional fight. Like you said, is it something you remember vividly? Because I imagine that your career, you get to a point where it's like you're at the top of your game and you feel like this will never end, right? This is amazing. And then you have to, you know, grapple with the fact that this could come to an end, right? And it goes quickly.
Yeah,
Very.
So take me back to the beginning, that very first one. I mean, I've got Dino's record here. I can go way back.
I remember my first amateur fight because I knew from then that I wanted what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
I was 8 or 9 years old. I weighed. I was just asking. I can't remember. I think I weighed 19 or 20 kgs or something like that, and it was at the Dan Bushney Boxing Club. I'll never forget it. I remember also I knocked my opponent down 5 times in the fight, twice, and then once. I didn't stop it at least, but I'll never forget it. And my first pro fight was against a guy who was actually a very good amateur as well. He was quite good, but his coach told me before we went in that if I knew it was you, I wouldn't have taken the fight. Like, you don't
Too
tell
late
me
now,
that.
buddy.
It's, we already signed contract. We're fighting now. Yeah, it's things I don't know. I'll never forget it.
Yeah, great times. I do remember my first Thai boxing fight, pro fight, was against, and you can look him up, Lyndon Knowles. I think he fought at 1FC now. He got smashed though, I think.
No name.
Yeah, and his brother coaches Jonathan Haggerty. Well, I don't know if he coaches him or holds his pads or whatever. So I mean, that's who I fought, and I lost. So it was a tough one. And then my first MMA fight was that was EFC was my first MMA fight. I think was like Renier Force or.
I've got here on Topology, 2009, April 26, Mike DeBrain.
Oh, Mark the Brain. Oh, yo, jeez.
Yeah.
See, thank goodness for things like that. I thought it was so Chad
that
happened my
wasn't-
fought at
yeah,
EFC.
yeah,
That
yeah.
was my first fight at EFC, but I'd had I think a few pro fights before
You
EFC.
had Fight Force before that?
Yeah, Fight Force and Fight Club.
Yeah.
Yes, and then Mornay's used to have his underground show. I think it was called Underground.
It's come a long way.
Yeah.
Yeah, big time.
And I remember fighting at Mornay's thing because it was underground in this parking lot, and he had like all the cars were parked. There was like a movie set, like underground, you know. That's what it was like. What he was aiming for, and like all the Bulls guys were sitting like front row. I'll never forget. And I fought. I won with so I knocked the guy out or something. And it was fantastic for me because I was like, I'm looking over and I'm seeing like Pierre-Jules Vandenberg and all these like great Springboks and Bulls players sitting like front row watching me fight this guy. It was a good memory of that.
And then, like, as you've progressed in your career, do you have moments? I mean, winning the belts, obviously, both of you have won belts. Are those like the standout moments? Is it a sense of relief or is it just joy? Maybe take us there for those that will never experience that. Having your hand raised and then that thing gets strapped around your waist or thrown over your shoulder.
Oh, like a lot of people you also know that when I told you that when I turned pro, my goal as a pro was to win the Ring Magazine bout. That was, I set out for that. That was the only thing I wanted, because no South Africans would ever win it. It was strange to me. I wanted to win it. And I remember that night, I was I think 18-1 underdog. When you go in there to get slaughtered, because that was their plan.
Yeah.
I was there with the Lamb, because he was going to unify the division after that fight. Or he was the unified champion, but he was going to unify the whole division, be the number one fighter, and that was their plan, and it backfired on them. To go from people booing you to people starting to support you because you're doing well, it's also quite... How can I say this? Yeah, I don't know how to explain it, because I fought in East London. Now, Joburg fighters and East London fighters, you don't mix. You stay there. And it's big competition against each other. Because a lot of the East London fighters come to Johannesburg to come and stay here, come and fight you, because opportunities are better. But most of the good fighters come from East London. So when I fought there as well, when I walked to the ring, people were booing me. The first round, they were booing me. And when I started to win, and they saw I could actually fight, they started supporting me. And moments like that, I don't know. You can't explain it to someone. You can't explain to someone that hasn't been there.
Yeah.
Like a lot of people say, go and bungee jump, go and skydive. It's not the same. The feeling's not the same. You don't get that. Like I said, if it wasn't for me having a child and getting married, nothing would be better than when I won those world titles when I was the underdog. Nothing has been better, except for those 2 moments in my life. Nothing.
Special.
I love an underdog.
Yeah,
I was also when I won the UFC title, I was also a massive underdog against Michiel, and I mean he was just cleaning everyone out, tapping everyone left, right, and centre, and yeah, it was big. I was also underdog, and I'll never forget coming out and all the fighters in the back. When I got to the back, they all stood there and applauded me, and that was like a special moment for me. For like your peers now all like clapping for you.
You made it.
Yeah, I like clapped when I came through, because it was a cracker fight. I mean, I got fights of the year.
Yeah.
That was,
Jeez.
so
That was epic.
and I remember them all clapping for me, and like everyone, like all the FFM guys were there, and like CHC guys, and like you come through, and everyone was clapping. It was amazing, And you were the underdog, and you were supposed to get beat.
Are you ready to become a bet influencer with Betway? Betway are introducing a world-first feature where you can make money by just sharing your betting codes. Every bet placed is generated and shared means cash profit for you. All you have to do is add 5 or more picks to your multi-bet, place your bet to generate a booking code, and share with your friends. So this is an underdog story.
Yeah, underdogs.
I mean, if you think about your backgrounds, right, where you've come from and what you've achieved, if you look back at, let's say 6 or 7-year-old Hekkie Dino to where you are now, you can be very proud of what you've achieved.
He was training in the garden after watching Rocky.
Oh, really?
Swear.
Yeah, that's
The same as you.
Watch Rocky, go out, train in the garden. Was him pulling bags. I had made bags. We were training. I was drawn to it.
And that's where you fell in love with combat sports. I know MMA was later on in your career, and there was a Thai boxing.
Yes, yeah.
But is that the same with you, Hekkie? Were you drawn to it when you were?
No, I got put into it by my dad,
Of course.
but not forced into it. Because I couldn't do any other sports. I think, Dino, you played rugby probably. I
First team captain.
played one game of rugby and the team lost, and no one was upset. These people weren't upset because we lost. I know it was a friendly game, but still. And I don't want to play with them anymore. I said, there's no way, sorry, cheers. And then they told my parents I must do a sport if I lost from my own fault. And my dad said, well, I box, let's try it. And when I walked into the gym the first day of training, I was in love.
And that love hasn't
Gone away. Don't think it will.
Dino, no, as you say, still active, right?
Yeah, I was still active, and that's more for my own sanity.
Yeah.
Just going back, you said the underdog story. I mean, everyone walks a hard road, and for me, it was about making that hard road wasn't going to be a negative in my life. It was about making life like a positive. I can become champion. You know what I mean? Like a self belief, and that's how every dream starts. And then you just need a bit of self-belief. And I was like, cool, I can do this, And
Yeah, it's
I'm
amazing.
not going to use life as a crutch. I'm going to use, and obviously I buried my dad like a couple of weeks ago, and that was like one of the things he taught me is like, you get up and you get on with it, you know.
I'm sorry for your loss.
No, thanks. I mean, I'll bring it up because I even went to training that day. I just found out in the morning and I didn't know. I didn't know what to do. And I was like, I'm going to the gym.
Yeah, but the gym is your temple, right?
Yeah,
I get it.
With teammates, like they know you, they can see something's off. Marty came to me, hey, you're right, bro. How you doing? And I said, my dad died this morning, you know. So
shame. Man.
Yeah, but I mean, like, I still got to go. That's how I deal with it. So I think like we have to stay in the game.
Yeah.
You know?
And did that help you sort of, I mean, it's still raw, but did that help you sort of just start processing it? Because you were in a familiar space.
It was,
your brothers.
I was actually able to center myself, believe it or not. Like, center myself and just like digest, okay, this is real. Because I even went there the morning. My dad loves an April Fool's joke. So I was like, I need to go check. And like I got there in the morning, so like, and he had passed on that, and I didn't know what to do. Like, obviously got home, and like you want to cry, but you want to scream, and you want to do all these things. It's like going to the gym. Went and trained, and then like I told Martin, and then I told coach afterwards. Because I can see something's like off. Like I think he said to me like, why is there so much emotion today? You know, and I said to him, my dad died this morning. It's like, oh, you know, sorry. Jeez. But because they can all see it in like how you're training, and you don't think that at the time, but it was a good way to process what had happened and start digesting it. And I mean, that whole week for me felt like a nightmare. Well, not a nightmare, like a dream. And then only after like we had buried him and stuff, I was like, snapped out of this dream, like this haze. But yeah, back to the fighting helped me center myself.
And as both as parents, I mean, do you look at fighting differently now? Because you're fathers, because you're accountable for someone else. I know, you know, the active fighting part of your career is a thing of the past, but this is only the beginning of the next chapter, right?
Well, make sure to get up and work harder. You've had it a bit longer than me now. Yeah. But since I've had it, I've actually wanted to do more, to work more, to make her more, to have more stability for her in her future life.
I think being fighters it's a hard thing, and you sacrifice so much. Like, I mean, I kept saying it. I've put my life on hold, and now I'm like trying to play catch up in the business world and to leave something behind. Like, cool, I've left him like a little bit of a legacy, but like, that's not going to put food on the table for him and give him a foot up. You know, like. So you do think of things a little different when it comes to the little ones. And like my son, I'm fortunate enough, he had seen me fight, and you know,
I've seen him running around.
Yeah, he runs around like he owns the place, and he's not in it at the moment. Like now it's rugby, he's rugby obsessed, but still, when my dad's week, he'll come and he has to train in my class because I pick him up on the way to the gym, and he has to train in the class with other kids. And if he wants to do it one day, I won't force him, but like, I do force him to wrestle. It's like, you must wrestle. Just builds different athletes and makes him learn to work hard.
Benefit is rugby.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, it does. It does.
So, yeah, they don't see it straight away.
No,
right?
They don't.
But eventually he'll be like, thanks, Dad. And looking at how you take what you've learned into your coaching and into your, I know you have clients, Hekkie, that you look after, you give classes to. Has it sort of changed things now that you're not competing? Or is there still that hunger trying to get the best out of each time? Because I know you're not scared to slap your clients around a little bit. Yeah, I've seen it.
Not I don't.
In a good way.
Yeah, no,
in a good way. Hands up.
I think that it gives you, Dino will probably feel the same. It gives you that drive because we've lived it.
Yeah.
You lived how much it takes to actually become a fighter.
Yeah.
And people that just train for the fun don't understand that. They don't get it. So I like to sometimes push my clients to show them this is a hard you have to work to really become something. And a lot of the guys actually take to it and they enjoy it because they get pushed and then understand what it's like, in a sense, to be in our shoes. So you can't take a client, a normal guy from the street, and really put him into a fight that type of situation, but you build it up. And it's helped me actually help people to understand what it takes to be better at life even. Yeah. Some people say, yes, this has calmed me down for my work session. I feel ready to go and tackle this meeting I have to go to. It just gets the stress out. A lot of the clients enjoy that.
Yeah.
Enjoy getting rid of the stress and working hard, breaking a sweat, and they're getting it shows results in their work as well, which is good.
I think what your clients will never experience is that first crack when you see the claret, right? You know that, like when you get cut or whatever it
Even
is.
when you get hit, and like my last fight, I thought it was the end of the round. When they stopped the fight, I thought, I was going to sit and get some water. I didn't know the fight was over.
Jeez.
And I wouldn't like anybody to experience that. But no, they won't.
Yeah.
I mean, your clients, for most guys, they're not there to be fighters. So we understand that. And I've always said, like, I'm more than just a personal trainer. Like, I'm a life coach.
Yeah.
I'd give them advice on how to eat. I'd give them advice on like training a little bit more, things that we do in our fitness, our region, like give them the tools and stuff like that. So I do a lot more. I chat to them on a daily basis. I'm dragging them to their lazy backsides to training, and I've sort of moved away from coaching one-on-one sessions now, because like you give people too much time, and like when they're like, and it's not about the money, but like it's not something that's rewarded. Like the time and the effort you're putting in. That's why, like, now I coach the kids in the teenagers class, and because I get the most reward out of that. They listen to what you say, and so people are different. Like they're just there to get fit,
Yeah, and it's a good the training of people. It's a good way to learn how to speak to different people, because every client's a bit different. Some need to be really like pushed hard. Some just rock up and they can train. Same as a fighter.
Yeah.
Some of us, I remember Colin in the gym. He had to shout at some guys. Other guys would just come there and train. That's how you learn. You learn to adapt and how to talk.
People
to
skills.
you learn. Yeah.
Also, how you responded to instructions, right?
Exactly.
Because how you trained. And that instruction is the same, well, not the same, but you took into your fights, right? You still had to be communicated.
I'm a vocal coach.
Okay.
Very vocal. I will shout at you until you get it right. And it puts people under more pressure, but like, you're learning to follow instruction first of all, and under pressure. And that's just I also like my upbringing, and that I respond well to shouts, lights of fire under my backside. So, and I know, and also I also see clients that you can't shout at. So I'm now able to differentiate who's going to take it personally when I tell them that they're lazy.
And what are most people doing wrong these days? Is it that you can't run a bad diet? Is it literally that?
No, I think it's
life. Just life.
Really?
In essence, people work. People don't want to do anything else. They want to work, sit at home, work, get home. That's life.
The strains of life. Traveling to and from work, sitting in traffic. I mean, that's the last thing you want.
And you're rushing. Everybody's rushing the whole time. Rushing.
So what's your advice, guys? I mean...
Calm down.
Really?
Yeah, put yourself first. That's my goal for this year is put yourself first.
Okay.
Do things for you. It's not, and that's...
The thing as well, if you're not healthy, you can't keep your family healthy if you're not healthy. You can't look after anybody if you're not healthy yourself.
Yeah.
You have to have time to center yourself, to look after yourself. That's why I say a lot of people think what we do when we train someone, it's you can't go and do boxing, you can't go and do MMA. They're punching and hitting each other. Most of the people that finish a class, you can ask him. They love it. Those people are energetic. They're back to life. Yes, that was so good. I needed that. I'm ready for work tomorrow. Most people tell that to me. No, I'm ready for the day now. No, I'm ready now. Thank you. And it really works. Getting your frustration out, hitting something, it actually really, really helps.
Getting your heart rate up.
Yeah.
Because you touched on it for you as a mental health, being active, taking training yourself, not coaching or taking classes, but just from up here.
Something.
Yeah, just mental clarity. Like, I mean, I trained stupidly, overtrained, dumb. Through my career until like we learned the sciences and the arts as we all progressed. But it's to be like, I forgot where I was going, but like people just need to put themselves first, like focus on yourself, like everyone, like kids, family, this and that. Make time for yourself, like even if it's that hour where you go and do something for yourself, I think it's very important.
And I want to touch on what you just said about when you said about the MMA becoming mainstream. A lot of the boxing people have looked at MMA fighters like, you guys have got different trade. You've got nutritionists, all those things. Most fighters boxers didn't have that. It's old school, especially South African boxing. A lot of the guys I'm one of them, was old school. We ran every single day. You run every day. 10Ks every day. You didn't.
So you could eat what you want then?
No.
No.
You still
No, I'm saying, but that was the thinking, right?
Yeah, that's what boxers do. Especially when I was remembering being in the national team, this guy's eating 3 burgers. We're dieting, you're weighing in the next day, you weigh in every day when you're boxing at championships. Then they go and run 10Ks at night or the morning before the fight. Your legs are done. And only later on in my career did I figure out, when I joined Scott, that he said, you can't do this, you can't run every day. You have to do this to cut weight, you have to do that, and that's how you learn, and that's why
the science
has improved. And it's boxing in South Africa is catching up to a sense, where that's where MMA just took a massive jump forward because they did it the right way. And the boxing people are doing it, they're only starting to doing it right now.
Why do you think boxing has been...
It's been old school, and
Old
it's
school for
a
so
lot of
long.
the guys running boxing are old school people.
They just don't want to change.
Just don't adapt to the change. That's why a lot of people say, boxing versus MMA. We're 2 different sports, we're friends.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. It's still a fighting sport.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter who you are, who you support, doesn't matter.
Even jiu-jitsu now.
Exactly.
You know,
Jeez,
it's
the
a
work-
fighting sport now.
Yeah.
The sub-kings guys are doing amazing work.
exactly.
Done a fantastic job
Yeah,
there.
it's picking up. Everybody should be supporting each other, helping each other. Like,
100%.
we've got a plan. I don't know if I can say it. Well, I'll let you know. If he thinks it's allowed, we can say it.
So you say it.
Hekkie, you got the mic.
You're talking. Yeah.
We came up with an idea that we want to actually we haven't talked because Dino's got a bad time now, and he's going overseas the whole time. It's hard, but that we want to get an idea, something put together. We want to talk to a few people. We want to try and get an amateur event together where it's one boxing fight, one MMA fight, one boxing fight. Bring 2 sports together. How many people are going to watch that? You're a boxing fan, you're an MMA fan, you're still going to go and watch it.
Yeah.
And we want to try, and it's then building up the future of both sports.
Absolutely.
That's a plan we have. We've talked about it.
come watch.
And we'll see how that works. Yeah. Hopefully, now it's out there, people would want to come and support us and chat to us, and we'll get it running, get it going.
If you need a commentator, let
My
me know.
biggest thing to give back to the sport, I think, is like the guys need a platform to perform.
Yeah,
on,
that's
you know?
that, and that's the platform.
I said Versus this weekend, great amateur platform, and they've done a couple pro fights in the past, so there's not enough like them out there, you know, and that's because they've got people behind them, backing them, you know, giving them the money to be able to put on these fantastic shows.
You know, that's like the guys at Boyson's at Boxing 5.
Yeah.
There's a pro tournament that they have, and they have amateur tournaments as well. That's what the guys should be doing.
But there's clearly a need for this, right?
Big one.
And I mean, you've got EFC that sits as the established promotion, but Versus has done remarkable stuff in such a short space of time. Cameron Simon of them, getting involved. The Boxing Fives with Colin, and you can see that there's this bubbling under for combat sports. People
Kevin's
done phenomenal stuff.
Massive,
Also just launched his own promotion. So
fighting soon, defending his
and
world
he's
title
fighting
in
on
South
his own
Africa, WBC belt for the first time in years, which is
brilliant.
amazing.
he's doing it the Mayweather way, fighting on his own promotion. You know?
Fantastic. Why not?
No,
But there's a need, clearly.
Yeah, he's a
Big
very
one.
good business brain, Kevin.
No, Kevin is a good big business brain, very clever. A
I
lot of
remember
people.
I remember him walking into Peter's gym when he was like 18, and he was just this young little boy fresh out of school. And like I look at him now, and we still chat and that on Instagram, and when I see him at the gym and that, and he's like he's become this like grown, like a very good business brain.
Yeah, a lot of
Very
people.
good,
A lot of people say he's not a great boxer, or he's not good for where. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
So what? Look at where he is. Look at the house he stays in. Look at what he's done.
Yeah.
That's what young fighters need to look at too. You don't have to have a big mouth and say you're going to kill this one and destroy it, because Kevin doesn't.
Yeah.
He does it the right way. Clever business, the right people around him, and look where he is.
And he was this close to beating Daniel Dubois, who's fighting Usyk, isn't he?
That's what they're saying.
Well,
Yeah,
that's the
that's
talk
plan,
at the moment. I mean,
Dubois got lucky. I think. I
so-
remember watching that. I thought they.
Kevin should have won. Kevin should have come out that second round and just thrown everything he had at him. But that's boxing.
But that's
MMA is the
boxing.
same. One
Same
shot ends a fight.
Changes
One
it.
shot.
I think the key thing is, and you guys have been fantastic role models for your sport. Kevin is a wonderful role model for his sport. And I think we need
for
more
any
role
fighting
models,
sports, yeah.
exactly, for
And
combat
how to do
sport.
it right.
Look at Trickus at the moment. It's
Exactly,
been
same thing, yeah.
always poses for photos. There's two Zambian kids, Humphrey and Ken, Dino, who you found in
Yeah.
Lusaka. I mean,
Yeah.
you
They
brought
came
them
they
to
came
the
and trained
sport,
with
really.
me. Yes, yeah.
And I mean, it just shows the amount of talent that's coming through the ranks here.
Yeah.
But tell me a little bit more about where MMA is in Africa, because we're seeing more and more, talented athletes popping up in promotions like EFC, doing phenomenal things. Ken is now the champion in his weight division.
I think it was fantastic. I actually spent some time up in Zambia, so I was there for like two years, just over or just under 2 years. And I actually went up there. I was taken up there to assist in coaching and getting the sport off the ground, and which we did. So we had a gym, and everyone came to see the new South African that's inside. And obviously word gets around that I was there, and I think my first day I went to go look at the gym, and people, we hadn't even officially opened, but people were already coming there to see what was going on. And all the fighters came, and, that we went from not being open to having like 20 guys on the mat, all training. It was fantastic. I'm no grappler or wrestler, but I've been around the block, if you know what I mean. And I realized that was the biggest gap. You had a boxing background or some kickboxing or karate, especially, and judo. But I realized the grappling and the wrestling was and that's what I did. I wrestled the socks off of them for, I'd say, like 6 months. And then we did our first show. And obviously with my network and that, got MMA SA involved, and they were coming over and training up referees. And we actually put on 2 shows before I left. And I think Africa's like a war. We were warring continent. You know what I mean? Fighting is in our veins. It's in our DNA. Even though I'm like from European descent, but I'm African, so it's in our DNA. And I think there's so much more talent, to come out of here. And I recognized that they picked things up really, really quickly. Ken disappeared again, and I kept asking Humphrey, where's he? And then now he's washing cars, and I was like, get him to come here. He'll come work for me in the gym.
Amazing.
And then when I left, I was like, you've built a bond. I actually built a bond with my whole team. They're all still messaging me for fights at the EFC Contender now and Versus. But I was like, I can't just leave these 2 boys. I'd already walked a road with Humphrey. We were doing that scuffle search with him, and I was like, I can't leave them.
Yeah.
I got to take them with us. Would you guys come? Yes, they'll come. But I came back, I was rebuilding, and I took them to 2 teammates of mine, DeMart and Temba, and they're like, cool. They nursed them and did their share, gave them, I think they stayed in the gym at the time and were getting them fights and so on. And now look where they are. I think they've gone back, and now they're at CIT, and Ken's now won the title. So I was right about the talent. And I think there's so much more talent out there. But the problem is that it's the access to the coaching. That's where the big difference is.
Do you find the same in boxing at the moment?
Exactly. I just wanted to say that's the biggest problem in boxing is having the right coaches around you.
Yeah.
Because like I said, it's so old school. The guys still do it so old school. You put on a plastic bag, you go and run. 10 Ks to lose your 2 Ks or whatever you have to lose. You don't diet. That's what the guy... Or another thing I remember is dieting, eating wheat bix with water. There's no fiber, nothing. There's nothing in that. And it just loses strength. When you do one session, everything is gone. That's what we did to lose weight. And the guys still do that. The
Wheat bix and water.
That's what the guy to lose weight.
Oh, it sounds terrible.
And it tastes terrible, believe me. Yeah. But it's also to teach guys how to do it right.
Yeah.
Because you want to protect your body. That's why guys like Floyd could keep on going for so long.
Yeah.
Because he looked after his body was his temple. And in boxing, if you look at boxing history, the guys retired when they were 29, 30, 32, 34 maybe, some guys. But by then the bodies were done, and then it's not because of the fighting, it's not because of taking punches, it's because of the dieting and the training to make weight. That's what broke the guys.
Weight cutting. I mean,
Exactly.
I remember cutting my first weight fight. So I used to be middleweight, then I cut to welterweight. I fought Adam Speechley at EFC2. And I was walking around at like 90 kilos down to 77 for the first time. Didn't know how. I cut it in the sauna at the Virgin. They thought I was gonna die. They nearly didn't let that fight go ahead because of how dehydrated I was. And like I lost that fight because my hands were felt like lead. I felt like I was dragging lead around my,
Energy was all depleted, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And it's not healthy at all.
It's not healthy. I mean, there's been injuries where the guys have injured.
No, that's why the guys die. In boxing especially. When they take hits to the head, they lose so much water in their body that the brain moves in the skull. And that's when they get hemorrhage and things. The guys die because of it.
We've got a few minutes left, and obviously that safety element is a big thing. And getting the science right behind weight cuts, behind your camps, behind your conditioning. One thing that I know you guys are also quite passionate about is teaching the self-defense side of things. And I know there's a project you guys are looking at, going to Alex and different townships around South Africa. And with a country that struggles with GBV as a major scourge, you guys want to teach women, right, how to protect themselves. Is that right? Is that gaining ground? Is that what you guys are doing next?
Yeah, it's one of the things.
I know there's a lot of things, but
It's starting. We've had discussions when we're working on a plan. It's just hard to do it, especially. I think we're two guys. If you go to a school in Alex, how many kids are there to actually help and to really teach? It's hard to have the amount of kids that are there to teach all of them. We're gonna have to work out something where we bring a few more people on board to come and help us do this. We have talked about people in any way that he knows he's got his own gym, he's got a few fight guys. I know some fighters that are walking around, they will come and help with pleasure. But it's a good thing, and we need that. The school people need it, women need it, even young kids need it.
Yeah.
If you look at the robberies and how people are getting robbed, people need to be able to defend themselves in some way.
Yeah.
Even if you hit someone and turn around and run away, that's what I would say. Turn and run if you can.
Yeah.
But to get to that situation is you have to do something to get the opportunity to run.
Yeah.
And that's what we want to help with.
Well, I think if you can find a way that makes the most impact and you can upskill women, kids in this country, I think there's so much you guys can give them and teach them that, I think it's much needed. And you guys, if it's boxing, if it's jiu-jitsu, if it's MMA, if it's Thai boxing, Muay Thai, whatever it is, those martial arts all sort of allow people to grow in confidence, grow in, just from a point of view where their body is reacting to the exercise, they're seeing the benefits. And I think it's such an important thing is that the more people can be doing these things and acquiring a skill that helps them to defend themselves, I mean, this makes a lot of sense. I mean, the amount of kids now that are doing jiu-jitsu is insane.
crazy.
It's fantastic to see.
It's fantastic.
So,
I mean,
and that's because of pioneers like you, boxing legends like Hekkie. I mean, it's great to see.
No, definitely. I mean, both being striking sports, strikers, the best form of defense is attack, we would say. But I think there's a big need, and like my goal isn't like to go give these ladies skills to defend themselves. Like technically, and I want to use my church's term here, but like each one reach one. If I can get just to one kid and make them fall in love with boxing or mixed martial arts or another form of combat sport, then that's giving them, that we're uplifting them already, and it's a way out of their hardships, giving them the chance and the tools to fight the good fight.
Yeah, that's so important. I just think you guys, this chapter's just starting now.
Amen.
There's so much more for you.
We hope so.
We're going to wrap up now. What is, in terms of a takeaway, your advice to your younger self now, and something that you apply to this next chapter? What would it be as we wrap up the show? Putting you on the spot, absolutely.
Work harder. Dino, work harder.
I'd say listen to the people that are put there for you to listen to. Like I would sometimes think of, I've got this coach, Nicky Ness was my amateur coach. And told me, you need to do this. And I'm like, should I do this now? And if I just listened more, I think I would have won more SA titles as an amateur. I honestly believe that. If I just listened to the people that are there to listen to, the right people.
Yeah.
And take advice from everybody, but use the right advice.
Okay.
Because in our sport, the people that know the most are the people sitting on the outside. Most of the time. That's the truth. They're going to give you advice till you take a little bit of advice from everybody. Just you know what to use. Learn what to use and what works.
Well, gentlemen, thank you for your time. Nice Guys Management, congratulations. I can't wait
so
to
much.
see what the future holds. You guys are going to be game changers, disruptors in this space. And I wish you all the best. Thanks for spending time on the CS du Plessis show. And
Thanks for having us on the world
can
famous.
I just ask guys? Guys must come and watch the boxing next week, Saturday at Poisons.
okay.
Just throwing it out there.
No,
Good show. I'm commentating, so you have to
Oh,
come
you
and watch.
see now. You see now. That's why you guys didn't say anything. You need a commentator because you got one. Fantastic.
Take my spot. Yeah, we're going to do it together, okay? Please.
But gentlemen, thank you very much. All the best
thanks,
and keep
Sias.
up the good fight.
Take care and God bless. Thanks for having us.